Coming up this week, it's a sex, drugs and rock and roll episode. We talk about the lockdown restrictions, bands on tour, the war on drugs, battle of the sexes, rock and roll stories, burning out or fading away, Club 27.
Oh no, you don't need to say that.
No, so I'll cut that. It's too funny though. I'll put it out for a laugh. Roadie or Groupie, Keith Moon, Courtney Love and Ozzy Osbourne. If this episode is about 15 minutes long because most of it's been cut, so let's go.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Carbon Copy COVID Curer podcast. There may be some bad language. We're on Spotify and Apple. You can subscribe and follow us on either or both. We're a wedding band from Central Scotland. We're on lockdown, so we're not gigging. So we're doing this podcast every week instead. My name is Martin. I play guitar in the band. We've got our singer David Swan.
Hello.
Our bass player Mark Caulfield.
Hello there.
And our drummer Neil McDougall.
Good evening.
We've got a very special guest, producer, sound engineer, DJ at Venice of the North Studios and Box Glasgow, a sound guy in every way, Mr. Andrew Shepherd.
Hello, friends.
How you doing, Shep?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on. How's things been for you recently?
Yeah, we've been alright, man. The lockdown was pretty heavy going, right? But I'm back at work now, although there's not really much to do just now. But yeah, I'm back in the pub, but we got no live music, so I'm just like doing little bits and pieces, basically, man. So it's been alright.
What's the down low, Shep, from like communication for government and local authorities to you guys? What they saying? What they saying? When are we getting fucking back out there?
When are we getting the tunes back on?
Yeah, man.
Well, it started off okay because the first time we opened, we just left the bar open till 3, like normal. And we had like the music playing and stuff, and it was all fine. And then 2 days later, your licenses were like, you can only stay open till 12, which totally kills us. So we got about quarter capacity, open till 12 o'clock, no live music, no background music. It's basically like a shite pub now.
Aye.
So anyway, they're talking about potentially having music back on the 14th, which is what, 3 weeks today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So
is that background music or live?
No, that's live music, man. So there's going to be so many hoops to jump through. You know, we're talking about plexiglass over the front of the stage and
who's going to pay for that? You know, like.
Well, that's the thing. We don't get.
Not like,
no, exactly. It's not cheap. But
no, it's not like they're going to come in and do it for you or help you out. You're just going to be left.
Yeah, just reading like the guidelines to the outside music stuff. It's you can't have the stuff at a level where people can speak over. So obviously, drums. How the fuck are we going to get over that? Maybe like drummers playing with brushes. Sorry, Neil, for a while, but
I'd go electric, mate. I don't think there's even brushes.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, the electric's not a bad shout, but there'll be no like sharing mics or anything, or can they touch each other on stage or that?
No sweating.
Fuck that.
Can't touch each other on stage.
That's us screwed, man.
Difficult one for you guys, obviously.
How will you survive, Spanko?
I don't know if I can't touch myself on stage.
You can touch yourself.
You can touch yourself.
Well, that's fine then. Aye, let's get back down to the gigs.
the plexiglass stuff and all that doesn't bother me. Keep the bangers away for you. I quite like that.
That's true. We could sell tomatoes to chuck it and shit.
Aye, that would be quite cool. But this fucking sound limiting crap that can get to fuck as far as fuck can be, to be honest, because that'll be like playing in the shittiest sound limiter venue about. Some of these places are like 85 dBs and your telly's louder, and you just cannot create an atmosphere. That's what music's about. They don't want us to create an atmosphere, I realise that, but fuck me.
Yeah. Well, they're looking into having the background music back again at 70 dB. So 70 dB is about the volume of a Hoover, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Is there currently no music in Box at the moment, Chip?
Yeah, that's right, man.
No music, even
in
background?
Any pub
Even
in Scotland,
Any pub.
or
I thought there was.
football
I know
centre
there's
in.
no live music, but I thought you would be able to have.
No, they've
No,
stopped
nothing.
it.
Jukebox and
Stopped it, Mervyn.
Yeah.
They've told them to mute the tellies as well.
Yeah, no telly background, anything.
Aye, it's pretty heavy going, the rules that they're doing, but...
Still get a 2-for-1 Sunnock supper though, so you're alright.
Is this to prevent people from going out rather than actually, letting them?
Well, it's because they
They
say
say you
that.
spray it, don't they?
Yeah, you'll lean in closer to each other when there's music so you can hear each other, but they're talking about the opposites actually, what's been proven. People start to speak louder when they hear other voices and stuff, and they lean in so that people can't hear the private conversations when there's no background music or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of a bit of a shit show, but I mean...
Aye, that's true, by the way. You've just contradicted everything in the rules, because the opposite applies as well. If there's
Absolutely,
nothing
man,
there,
yeah.
you want to lean in and say, by the way, because if you're in a pub and you're just talking and having a laugh, and the music's on, you just sit and blather and you don't mind what.
Well, that's it.
level you're
I
at,
mean, I was in a bar the other day having a pint on my own, and I could hear the people at the other side of the bar about 10 metres away, 15 metres away. I could hear the girl talking about how many Tories she's fucked, which I thought was weird. Like, but
Many what?
What?
how many Tories? Yeah. The guy was like,
Actual
I can't.
Tories?
Yeah, our mate was like, I can't believe you fucked a Tory. And she's like, I fucked like 10 Tories. So,
I wonder if they were actual MPs or just voters.
no, I don't think they were MPs. Like, just voters, I think.
I can't believe there's 10 Tories in Glasgow.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she travels about.
You're just looking for Tories.
Yeah,
Tory hunter.
Tory hunter.
That is bananas.
That's
But
crazy,
that's just show. I was in a pub as well, and it's horrific. It's like, oh my god, this is horrific. This is like every pub's a Witherspoons now. Get me the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Listening to the old guy in the corner playing dominoes and the wee woman talking about her washing bin out in the line. I'm like, I need to get this stopped. But see all the rules, know that just quickly on it, because they're obviously going to keep going with these rules until they get a vaccine and stuff like that. But it becomes a bit like immersed in so many rules that nobody knows what the fuck anybody's doing, and we don't know what where we go, how we actually get round it, how we were able to get working again. Nobody knows how to do it, so they need to just simplify it, and they need to go, right, we're allowing this, so do you know what, we realise we can only keep human beings apart for so long, let's fucking go for it, and I think there's got to be a point that happens.
Just because all the rules are contradicting each other,
Aye.
like you can't go into a shop without a mask on, but you can go into a cafe without
Fucking
even
nuts.
the thought of a mask, and it's all just a bit confusing, isn't it?
See, the first day the pub's open, I went to one for took a day off work, and there was a few boys, we got together and we went to the pub, but we were going to one of the boys' houses before we went to the pub, so I went to Asda and I got a carry out and went down to his house. But when I'm walking into Asda, I'm putting on the mask, and then I'm like, I'm going to be going down to a pub to sit closer to all these people in 10 minutes without a mask on. So it makes absolutely zero fucking sense. There's no logic in it, and it's just people in, bureaucrats grabbing at stuff for science and going, right, make a rule on that, make a rule on that, make a rule on that.
Suppose you can't get a drink with a mask on at the same time, but
well, why open
don't
them
open
then?
the pub. I know.
Well, they need to open it because they're not going to fund it.
Exactly.
Ideally, you would keep it shut and just pay the people and just say,
we'll do
keep
that
it
now.
shut, keep everybody safe, let's pay everybody, and when it's done, it's done. But that's not
There
going to happen.
are some bars that have stayed on furlough though, right? They're not opened up
Aye.
again yet.
Is there still some of them?
Well, Binkies is
Yeah.
still on it now, aye.
Well, the
Nice.
furlough is just coming to an end though. Is it
Aye.
not?
Yeah, I think it's October, but I think the employers have got to start paying a little bit more now
Yeah.
from next month, which means that's when you're going to start seeing them cutting
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah, definitely. Horrific way to deal with it, really is.
Terrible.
Nice and cheery way to start the podcast. Nah, that's fucking not cheery a bit. That's shit, but I don't know.
Nah.
It's just fuck off. Just fuck off now. Geez, peace, man. Had enough now.
Why can't, is it, I take it as problematic, why can't you just shield the folk that need to shield? The rest of us get the fuck, I mean, it's way more complicated than that.
I don't even think you need to do that. You just say to them, like, listen, you know you're in a high category. See if you don't want to die, stay in the house. Simplify it all. Simplify it. It's your choice, but see if you don't want to, the world's going to continue the way it does.
Well, they have kind of done that. They've done that.
Man,
they've basically said that. They've basically said, we're not going to look after you. Go and do what you want. They said at the start, people are going to die, get used to losing your loved ones. And then they're saying, we can't save every job. So, fair enough, you can't save every job, but what are you actually doing to save any jobs? You're making up, as you say, all the rules that are completely incompatible with human life. You're letting businesses run at a fraction of their capacity, so they're not going to earn any money. So the danger's still there. Yep. It's more dangerous, and the economic issue's still there. The solution to me is you just shut it, keep the whole lot shut, pay everybody. And it costs a lot of money, but I guarantee you it will cost less money than the way it's heading.
I think it costs less money than nuclear programs and all that fucking shit.
Exactly, but I think the point to that is well, we don't know when this vaccine's coming, so would we pay furlough indefinitely?
Well, Germany's said 2 years, haven't they?
2 years, 12 months there, aye. And to me, they've been better every step of the way. So, but a country like Britain will never look towards a country like Germany. I think they know better than that. But it's the second wave will probably come, and loads of jobs will go, and thousands of jobs have went. And that's the thing, they've allowed these thousands of jobs to go. These jobs are going to go anyway. See all your travel, that was done. This is just fast forwarded. That was all going to go, but they've put in a situation now where they've let all of that go, and they've got no sort of
no jobs on the market for
there's no jobs in the market, so they would have been better just paying the people, because they're ultimately going to need to pay the people anyway, because they're going to be unemployed. So it's like they should just have paid them in the first place.
But
wait and see what happens.
They're just paying them a shit ton less.
Shit ton less than the job seekers. Do you know what I mean? 70 quid a week's fucking a lot less than the furlough pay that they'd be paying out. So fuck I hope that lassie fucking battered the 10 Tories after she fucked them.
So this is a sex, drugs and rock and roll special. Because
is that especially for me?
Yeah, but that's why we selected you as a guest. Everybody knows that a wedding band's all about sex, drugs and rock and roll.
Yes,
that's common knowledge.
Aye, mate.
We got 1 out of 3 covered. I'll not say which.
So we'll ask you a couple of questions. We'll ask everybody a couple of questions, but we always start with our special guest. So this question's for you first, Chip, and it's if you could go and tour with any band or artist for 1 week, who would it be with and why?
It is a fucking difficult. Would you want to try to with any band really?
Anyone dead or alive?
Dead or alive, singer.
I've thought about this before, and like your favourite bands and shit. Stuff like you want to tour with Nirvana would be so cool, but it wouldn't, would it? It would just fucking suck. Guy taking heroin in the corner and shit is like, Kurt, come on, man. I don't know. Maybe something like if you went with like Nile Rodgers or something, or Chic, that would be pretty fun, wouldn't it? Like bit of a party. On stage
now it's probably like fine dining and that, like in good scram and shit.
Maybe.
Just a bunch of mature folk enjoying themselves.
Have you guys put much thought into this? Who you would tour with?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'm putting some thought into it right now, mate.
I've not put much thought in, but one thing I heard, I think this question's been on the table for a while. We've never really used it, but I remember seeing a documentary recently. This isn't really anything to do with why I would pick them or that, but it was quite an interesting thing, and I know I always mention them, but it's going to be a Beatles reference again. But the keyboard player with the Beatles in their later days, Billy Preston, apparently they met him because Billy Preston was on tour with Little Richard, and obviously the Beatles went to Hamburg, and Little Richard went on tour through Hamburg. Billy Preston must have been his keyboardist, whatever. But they left him. they left him in Hamburg, and that's how the Beatles met him, because he went on tour and they just left him. So I mean, I don't know if that's a sign of a good tour or a bad tour if you get left.
They just fucked off, man. That's
Just
amazing.
fucked off and
Mind
left him,
Jim
and then he
McNulty
joined
done
the Beatles.
Mind Jim McNulty done that at a gig up in Dundee. Mind that Jim McNulty. Mind me if we were in
What was
it
that
no
again?
when Spanko was playing?
Kind of rings a bell.
Spanko was playing in Dundee. Was Jim no playing at that gig? Jim was playing at that gig, wasn't he? Spanks.
For
That gig you
listeners,
played-
Jim McNulty's a friend of ours.
Aye, he's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Alright, Jim, and he's just had a wee baby as well. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nice one,
even,
Jim.
even though you're never fucking listening to us in a million
No
years.
chance.
You've come a long way from setting your pubes on fire.
And the cherry tree.
Oh, see that?
dear.
I remember speaking to Jim after when I kind of joined the band, Merv, and Jim kind of left. I joined and
That
then
must happen a lot
and he
to you.
left. And I think before that, I remember we did like one gig and Jim was playing, and then it was a bit weird because it was almost like two frontmen at one point for like one gig. It was a bit
really?
strange. Aye, it was weird. And then I remember talking to him. I merged him. We've had all sorts of singers and that. Apparently, some guy set his pubes on fire, and Jim's like, "Aye, that was me, mate."
But he done that. We woke up in my travel lodge in the middle of Dundee, and his guitarist or bass player or both came down, and like, where's Jim? He's fucked off and left us. He's away up the road hours ago. So they boys had to jump
There
the
was
train.
about 14 of them in a single fucking room in Dundee. I remember that.
Aye, that's right. In one of the kind of family rooms, there was
Yeah.
hundreds of them.
Where was that gig, Mark?
That was your gig.
Fat Sam's, was it no?
Mind I played. Me and Phil played
Oh,
with Mike Spark.
Is it like a church in Dundee? We
yeah,
spoke
it's
to it
called
about
church. It's
parking.
called
Got some of
church
this last
actually.
week.
Yeah, it's the old dog. It's one of the dog houses. It was called church at that point.
That was ages
I
ago. now.
remember Jim playing now. Actually, yeah,
That's right. That's
I
right.
forgot Jim played until you mentioned it there.
yeah.
there you
Homer
go.
James.
Aye, that's right, mate. That's right, Homer James. They were fucking brilliant. Better
Aye,
than
they're
fucking
classic.
Spanko anyway. Caulfield's gay. That was that gig.
Yeah, it was that.
That's the funniest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I literally had to go to the toilet or I was going to piss my pants.
It was so awkward as well, man.
Caulfield's gay. Right in an empty, hundreds of reverb in the voice and that, just for the crowd. Absolute genius timing as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cheers, Beckett. He's probably listening to this now because it's Shep's on it this week. So he's probably going, "Oh,
Oh,
That's
it's Bex.
Beckett,
Alright,
you take a
mate.
bow for that, mate. That was utter genius, man. I have never laughed so hard in all
I
my
felt
life.
so fucking stupid because it was silent and everyone was looking at me. It was like 200 folk just staring. Caulfield's gay!" And I'm like, cheers, mate.
So good, so good. I'd like to go on tour with the folk that wrote the song. I'd go with Ian Dury and the Blockheads.
Oh yeah, that's decent, man.
Good shout, aye.
They've got a bit of partying in them as well. But see, like you say, Shep, as well, when you say these kind of things, the thought of like the tour bus turning up outside my house and like seeing them all in that neck before you even leave for a month or whatever, you would go, "Oh my good God, I need to live with
man.
these people."
Aye, they'll be in like the worst nick you could imagine possible right at the start.
Aye, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. To fuck
you-
with that.
You guys hear Ian Dury's son's band? Like,
Yeah, aye, Baxter.
yeah, it was actually your brother John that let me hear it, man. It's fucking
Aye,
decent,
it
like.
may have been me that let him hear it. I don't know.
No doubt, man. No doubt. But he sounds exactly like him, eh? It's cool as
Aye,
fuck.
he's cool. Aye, he
What
is
they
a cool
called?
guy. Good voice. Baxter
What's it-
Jury. It's,
Baxter Jury.
Ian
Oh, is it
Jury's
just his
son.
name?
Aye,
You check that
that's
out.
his son.
Because I thought it was Ian Dury at first. Like,
Is that how similar he is to
yeah,
his
it's
dad?
dead close sounding.
See, I
like.
love Ian Dury's stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
great.
I'll need to listen to that. Did you hear that Steve Errol, the guy that does Galway Girl and that, his son died today?
Oh, really?
88-year-old. He's
Oh,
released.
shit.
He's released 9 albums or something like that. I've never heard him.
Steve
Go and
Errol, he
check him.
does. How did you just say
Copperfield.
Galway Girl? Aye.
Galway Girl, Copperfield Road, is it? The other one, the big one.
He played
Copperhead Road.
Shane MacGowan in that. There's like a video and Shane MacGowan's in the studio and he's drinking like a mug, but it obviously isn't tea, it's obviously
Gin.
Like, three quarters gin. And then like probably the other quarter vodka probably, you know what I mean?
May I've seen when you say that, I watched a thing last night and it was about 50 most heinous pop star things that they've done in the past, and he was on it, in a thing that he must have been playing a gig, and a German guy was trying to interview him, and he is the drunkest you have ever seen anybody drinking raw gin out a bottle. But it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen as well. It's a bit tragic to watch, it's it's got an element of tragedy in there, but it's also fucking hilarious, man. Know what I mean? He says, he's like to him, and who would you like to have sex with? And he's like, the Virgin Mary. I rolled a bit. He said that. Really good, but aye, that's fucking me diverging. But I'll go with Ian Dury. And
Ian Dury's a good shout, man.
I'll go with that.
What about you, Neil?
Nah, I mean, I take it as, are we playing when we're touring with them, or are we just going on tour like a bus driver or something?
That would be quite cool to play with the band. I never even thought of that way.
Nah, bus driver, man.
Well, bus driver I'd drive myself demented, I think, if everyone was getting pissed and I had to drive the bus.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
You ever see that movie, was it Strange Fruit?
Oh, yeah.
Billy Connolly, was he the bus driver on that one?
That's right. I remember that movie, aye.
That's what I imagine it'd be like. Just him actually saving their lives all the time, and just,
yeah.
That'd be miserable.
I would hate that. I would hate that. I even hate like giving my drunk mates a lift home for the pub and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing on the planet.
How dare you have fun in the back of my car?
You fucking arseholes.
I think I'm going to be controversial, and I'm sorry, Swanee, but I think I'll go with the Beatles.
What, you right? You're fucking right.
But let me explain though. See, if I go into with the Beatles, I want to be that guy in all the photos. Everyone's like, who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Ringo?
Aye. And plus, I wouldn't mind, because I don't enjoy them, and I would like to actually see if I could give myself a chance to do it, but and then actually make my mind up. But
I think it depends what era you get them in, right?
Touring wasn't really invented back then as in the way it is kind of post the Beatles. They even changed all that shit as well.
I mean, they had a plane and all sorts.
Yeah, like they were the first people to do a stadium gig.
That thing that your dad told me to watch is got
America.
When they done the stadium gig in the baseball stadium, and they put
Shea Stadium, yeah.
What's the speakers called?
They've actually got like some guitar amps and shit, I can't mind, but
what's the
like
speakers
nobody
called?
could hear a thing.
Oh, they're the worst. One of the speakers at top like that, and they're
tannoy.
It's like a tannoy speaker, and that's what they came through.
Tiny PA, just guitar amps, no mic'd up or that, like in a fucking massive stadium with lassies screaming for like an hour.
Sounds terrible, doesn't it?
But that's what changed everyone, because then they must have went, right, how do we make this a thing? You know what I mean? And then a stadium turned into a thing after that gig. So that's another thing the Beatles are.
Even the technology, building PAs and
pioneers. They're pioneers all over the place.
Wait a minute here. The fucking Beatles didn't build PAs and invent PAs.
But
somebody no fucking add into them. The fucking hype.
That was the first ever stadium gig, and it was terrible. So folk must have went, right, we can sell a lot of tickets. How do we make it good? Aye.
This was after McCartney got replaced with a droid.
Yeah, before the accident.
I thought Neil was going to say he was just going to go with them to sabotage them or something like that.
I don't know. No, I just like the idea of that. Considering, I mean, I know everyone a lot of people rate them as the pinnacle, where everything changed and fans were like screaming crazies and all that. But
is that true? Is that true? Is
just
that
a boy band, eh? Boy band in the
what a boy band,
they never started that though. Elvis was there way before that.
Not stadium gigs though.
No, but we're talking about the hype and the mania for women and girls and all that. The Beatles never started that shit.
I would say Rock and Roll would have existed, and there would have been a hype and hysteria definitely before that.
Elvis, you're right.
Yeah, even like old blues shit, there would have been that.
Exactly.
An amount of hype. What are you thinking, Mark? Who are you going to do? David Byrne or some shite?
Is it terribly cliche to say Motley Crue? Am I allowed to say that?
You'd die on that too.
24 hours did. So would most people. So would every single one of us, man. Like, no chance. No, that's probably like going that. I talk about jumping in at the deep end. That would be the deepest deep end you could possibly do.
Yeah, pretty heavy duty.
Yeah. Did you like the film The Dirt, Neil? Did you like that?
Oh, it was alright.
I thought it was alright, yeah. That was good fun.
Is that the documentary thing? That
No, the film. It's definitely
that's
not a
like a
documentary.
band.
Aye. It was alright, that actually. Quite liked that as
Quite
well.
funny, aye. But they were apparently the most mental of all time.
I'm
Apparently.
not really into their music that
Nah,
much.
neither am I. Not really, nah.
So why are you going on tour with them?
Just
For the party
the
lifestyle.
party, man.
Just the party?
Aye, aye.
I hate
Aye,
your
just to
fucking
see
music,
Ozzy
lads.
Osbourne.
You know, Caulfield is quite the partier.
Yeah,
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 nowadays,
he is.
stuck in the
That's
house.
true. That's true. He is a bit of a party girl.
Was that the story that the Motley Crue, or one of the Motley Crue, was under the stage with Slash doing whoever was on stage's wife as a get
Aye,
back?
in the film that happens. Aye, it's not happening in the film. He ends up. It's like his manager at the time's girlfriend he was left alone with the singer for 5 minutes in a room, and aye, dearie me. Tommy Lee. Donnie used to tell me about Tommy Lee, and
I
apparently
don't know if he's alive.
he did a thing. This is absolutely disgusting, but he was like trying to have sex with as many groupies as he can and not wash, and see how long it would be before they would go, no, because you stink. And it was something like 3 weeks or something like that. They also apparently he was just able to have sex when he was completely out of it, like almost asleep, and just would still be able to do something. So they threw like a homeless woman in him just to see what happened, and had sex with the homeless woman.
So he created AIDS, is what you're telling me?
Basically, aye, they're fucking nuts.
That is honking.
And that's what you want to go on tour with,
Well,
right?
let's have it, boys.
Jump aboard the Spangle
Life
bus.
experience.
Definitely.
They sound like a bunch of pricks.
Aye, they did. I bet they were dead young and just complete arseholes with loads of money and fucking just stuff their heads. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. No. Yeah, I think you were right there, shit, with the what's his name? Yeah, that
Neil
would be quite
Rogers.
good.
You're
probably
rethinking, are you? Jack
Nice
Johnson or
dinners.
something?
Jack Johnson. There's probably no booze and stuff on Jack Johnson's tour. Do you know what I mean? Well, I heard there was no booze, and somebody told me in Twin Atlantic's
Christy
tours that we wouldn't drink. They want to let it drink and stuff like that.
Probably because the Red Bull sponsored them. They're only allowed to drink Red Bull.
Right. Apparently,
Red Bull
they were
sponsored
like,
Twin Atlantic.
Yeah, they used
yeah,
to.
Red Bull
anyway.
Records. That's right. Yeah.
Ah, right, I never knew that.
Christy Moore doesn't allow
No, no
people
drink.
to drink.
No, no bar,
No,
no
even
bar
the
at
scene
Christie.
drink.
Gigs?
The
Aye,
get
you're not allowed to have a drink.
Aye,
Is that right?
The audience
Yeah,
are
Holy
allowed to
shit.
drink.
He shuts the bar in the Barrowlands and that.
I mean, I've heard like Morrissey no meat at his shit.
I've
but I
heard
never
that.
knew
'Cause-
that.
Is that because somebody threw a sausage roll at him? Is that true?
Apparently somebody in the barracks threw a square sausage
Yeah,
at
that's
him,
it.
and they walked off stage and never played the gig.
That's class.
That's so good.
If it was the Beatles, I would like to go in the studio with the Beatles, but not so much a tour. But I mean, I think what you're saying, shit, makes a lot of sense. Go and see the world with somebody that's, you know, just like not too mad. You can take it on. You can be everywhere when you're meant to be, and that maybe somebody like Neil Rogers would be decent.
Yeah, it would be. That seems like something that would be fun, right?
Aye, and there's no madness. It's just.
Plus, you'll probably meet a lot of cool motherfuckers because he knows everyone.
Definitely,
as well, you know.
very cool guy.
He's there would be some amount of people on the tour as well because he always takes a big band, doesn't he? He's always
big
got
band, yeah.
There's,
loads of musicians.
There used to be a website where you could see actual riders from
Aye.
rock stars and that.
There used to be that, and it was either Q Magazine or NME, Rider of the Month.
I'm making like a mead champagne, orange mead thing. But I need champagne bottles for bottling it. So I'm just going to wait to drink a bottle of Prosecco, boys, so I hope you don't mind.
Get it
I
down, you
love
mate.
it.
Get it
I
down. you.
like Prosecco, but see, the hangover is one of the worst hangovers you can ever have.
Yeah, you don't want to tell fucking Motley Crue that much. Like,
Don't think Motley Crue are on the Prosecco ship. I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago in Corinthian and I got introduced to the porn star Martini.
aye.
That comes with
Tasty.
a wee shot. It's amazing.
It's very tasty.
It comes with a wee shot of chilled Prosecco. So you get the whatever it is, the vanilla vodka and the.
It's quite. I can
passion
make that in
fruit.
the house, mate. I can give you the
But-
ingredients.
But you never know what to do with your little shot of Prosecco. I think you're supposed to drink it before, but
No,
Aye,
I'll put it
some
in
folk
it.
just chuck it in. Aye,
I'll put
that's-
it in it. Aye, it's nice, fizzy, it's great.
I think that's the wrong. You're not supposed to do that. That's what
Oh,
the
you
basic.
know?
That's what the basic bitches do, man.
Oh, fuck. What you meant to do in the advanced level?
I think you smash it first as a wee palate cleanser. So I hear, man. But I mean,
Smash it or drink it. No, like fucking.
I thank God you clarified that, Spanks. I was going to smash it right off my head. Fucking hell, man.
I've got some riders here from famous people if you want to hear it.
Go for it.
Right, Madonna 22. This is my Guardian article. Madonna 2012. 200 person entourage. 200 person entourage. 30 bodyguards, 1 acupuncturist, 1 yoga instructor, 1 dry cleaner, and several personal chefs. Strictly vegan menu. 20 international phone lines. Furniture draped in special fabric, whatever that is. Furniture decorated with lilies and roses with their stems cut to 6 inches. Well, there is a modesty actually. 2 rounds, this is from 1986. 2 rounds thinly cut cheese sandwiches.
Oh.
Section of nuts from the dressing room. Right. Some biscuits or cake. Bottle of Lucozade. A couple of pieces of fruit. 1 bottle of red wine and a quarter bottle of gin. That's not too bad. I mean, it's 1986. 2012. Guns N' Roses actually 2012. A custom made Italian leather couch. 1 square melon. Wines, beers, vodka, red wine and white roses.
1 square melon?
Yeah.
Melon's only square?
Right, exactly.
I think you have to grow them in a square box. To get
Yeah,
them
you
square.
would need to. Mariah Carey 2010. $200 bottle of Cabernet Sauv. 2 dozen white roses. Vanilla aromatherapy candles.
These fucking flowers and that. Why
I
would
know.
you want flowers?
Furniture in her living room space must include no busy patterns. Black, dark grey, cream, dark pink are all fine. Room temperature about 75 degrees. I take it that's Fahrenheit, 'cause it's American. She's not like boiling. Lamp or clip light provided so that harsh light may be turned off.
What would you put in our rider? Carbon copy rider?
That's
Ginger
a good
beer.
question.
Ginger beer, lime.
Ginger beer with fresh lime.
Fresh lime and lime cordial. I'm happy with just tea, coffee and a bit of cake. Actually. That's enough for me.
You want to get a good scran, like, you know?
Well, you get a
Some
scran, aye.
A cheese board, a good cheese board.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
I knew likes his cheese board.
Do you like your cheese board, Neil?
Oh yeah, man, love it. Especially if there's figs and grapes and all that with it. Aye.
Oh,
chutneys, Honors or
chutneys,
chutneys.
yeah.
Mind you, we were at the showcase on Aberdeen, Neil, and you were eating all the cheeses.
Oh, aye.
They looked amazing.
I'll never forget your pizza eating style, Neil. I've never seen that, like 4 slices at a time. Straight in.
Well, it says we
4
try to
slices straight
hold
in.
them. Aye.
What would you put in your ridership?
I'd say like you could take like I don't know, hundreds of booze, but it's of from wherever you're touring, you know,
Local
like
stuff.
local booze.
Yeah.
Hundreds of local booze and a good fucking vegetarian scran. Happy days.
I would definitely have some Palm Star martinis laid out for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's fucking right, man.
I'd
Porn
smash
star
some-
martinis, you can't go wrong. Like we used to have it on
delicious.
tap in the pub, man.
Do you not have that anymore?
Nah,
That didn't
it's
last
gone
long.
now.
Does it not go off in that? No.
No, it comes in like a mini keg.
Right, is it tasty?
It's pretty good. Like it's a bit sweet. We used to drink it by the pint because when we were
Fucking
DJing.
hell.
Is that like a pre-mix of it?
Yeah,
then?
yeah. It just came in a keg and you just poured it out the tap. Away you go.
Oh, that's interesting.
They've done this. I don't know if I want. You can tell me yes or no to do this, but they've done this on the
No.
Joe Rogan podcast. But I don't think everybody listening to that. And
Well, I
maybe you
would
guys
say
won't know. Do you know what I'm
it's a
away
wee
to do
bit
here? Since we were down the route of riders and it's sex, drug, and rock and roll. I have the Hunter S Thompson's daily routine in front of me.
I might have heard this before.
Have you heard this
Yeah.
before? Has
Possibly,
everybody heard this
aye.
before?
No,
Maybe no
I don't
bother.
know.
Right.
What is that?
You know who Hunter S Thompson is? The fucking mad.
It's in the movie, isn't it?
No, it's in the read out in the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, but I'm sure it is in the movie, though, isn't it? What he does every day.
Kind of, but not.
Explain it.
Right, do you know who he is,
No.
Hunter S.
Oh, it's-
Thompson is like a journalist from the 60s in America. He was fucking nuts.
The
He
guy
was-
from Fear and Loathing, man.
Fear and Loathing, he's in Fear and
Oh,
Loathing,
right,
aye.
okay.
Aye.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is basically like time code, isn't it? It's like wake
Yes.
up 10 o'clock.
Yes,
yeah,
I've got it, the whole
read,
thing.
Read it out.
Listen to
It's
this.
pretty
You'll
good,
never,
yeah.
like, he would make Motley Crue shiver. This is mental. So 3 p.m. rise. Right? So you're off to a bad start.
That sounds familiar. Like.
3:05 Chivas Regal with the morning papers and Dunhills. I guess that's cigarettes.
Yeah.
3:45 cocaine. 3:50 another glass of Chivas and another Dunhill or smoke.
What's Chivas?
Chivas Regal, the whiskey.
It's like a whiskey blend.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is it no Chivas?
Oh, Chivas.
Chivas Regal. Yeah.
Chivas, sorry mate, sorry. 4:05 p.m. first cup of coffee, Dunhill. So that's him just getting up, right? 4:15 cocaine. 4:16 orange juice, Dunhill. Another fag. 4:30 cocaine. 4:54 cocaine. 5:05 cocaine. 5:11 coffee, Dunhills. So several fags. 5:30 more ice in the Chivas. 5:45 cocaine, etc., etc. 6 p.m. grass to take the edge off the day.
Because you'll need it.
7:05 p.m. goes down to the Woody Creek Tavern for lunch, which is Heineken, 2 margaritas, coleslaw, a taco salad, a double order of fried onion rings, carrot cake, ice cream, a bean fritter, Dunhills, another Heineken, cocaine, and for the ride home a snow cone. And a snow cone is a glass of shredded ice over which is poured 3 or 4 jiggers of Chivas.
I love that bloody Chivas.
9 p.m. starts snorting cocaine seriously. 10 p.m. This is his daily. Around at 10 p.m. drops acid. 11 p.m. chartreuse, cocaine and grass. I think chartreuse is like a liqueur. Is that right, Shep? Chartreuse. Yeah, it's like a liquor.
Know,
How's he not passed it? But he passed it though.
This mental.
Cocaine.
11:30. That's 11:30 p.m. cocaine, etc., etc. 12 midnight. Hunter S Thompson is ready to write. This is him starting work now. 12:05 to 6 a.m. chartreuse, cocaine, grass, Chivas, coffee, Heineken, clove cigarettes, grapefruit, Dunhills, orange juice, gin, continuous pornographic movies.
I'll tell you what, it must be some amount of passion.
6 a.m. the hot tub champagne, Dove bars, fettuccine alfredo. Fettuccine alfredo, what's that?
It's like a pasta, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
the pasta, yeah, 6 in the morning.
Pasta with Freddos in it.
8 a.m. Halcyon, what's that? Halcyon.
It's drugs.
It's some
I think.
downer.
Some kind of drug, yeah.
Is that you, eh?
No, sorry. And then at 8:20 sleep. How on earth he's sleeping? God knows.
I mean, that's not possible for one human being.
It must be exaggerated though, right? Or
Of
like
course it is.
a fake fucking, it's like
That's
Like
maybe one day.
Chinaski
surely.
or something, you know. Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe he did that once or some shit. Nah, fuck knows. Who knows? It is Hunter S. Thompson. Maybe that is his shit.
Maybe it is. Aye. Apparently that's his daily routine. I
I
call
would be hard
bullshit
to
a wee
believe.
bit, but
That takes us swiftly on to the should drugs be legalised? Their ship.
here we go.
So, okay. Well, yeah.
Which drugs or shoot drugs?
All drugs is correct, right?
Yeah, just says drugs. So I'm just.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
whatever you take it as.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't penalise people for taking fucking drugs, can you?
Well, they've done a good job so far.
Well, they shouldn't know it, right? Fair enough.
Shouldn't.
It's like.
There's worse crimes in the world, man. There's worse
Well,
crimes.
Is it a crime?
how can you make it fucking illegal to take a substance? It's like just like tax it. Then you get rid of all the crime. Your crime rate goes down. People aren't fucking buying shady drugs and dying. People aren't
Yep.
going to jail for something stupid like carrying a gram of cocaine or half ounce of weed on them. You know,
Yep.
like it's daft as fuck. It's like so it's fine to get pissed out your mind and like
I know.
fucking destroy your life that way, but you can't like smoke the ganj. And like,
Easy.
I'm not a big advocate for drugs. It just makes sense.
I know.
Like, tackle the problem from a different direction. Like, look at anywhere, any other, well, better countries than like maybe, well, Holland and stuff. They do it right, don't they? What do you guys think? Surely there is only one option: legalize drugs. You can't.
I think you're right, mate.
Taxidise
See,
them.
I've watched a lot of stuff on this, and see, back in the late 1800s and mid 1800s, all your aristocrats were full-blown cocaine addicts and heroin addicts as well.
Was it not opiates and
opiates and stuff,
after China?
Right, but see, pure heroin is actually less harmful for your body than sugar. If you get pure, cocaine, these guys lived into their 70s and 80s back in the 1830s, and they were all daily heroin. I swear to God, check it out, mate. See if it's pure. It's not very toxic to the body. Excuse me, at all.
What?
Well, it tends
It's
to be
heroin.
other things.
Heroin.
Yes.
It's not, okay.
It's not. You check it all out and see.
I guess it tends to be other things that kill people.
Yes.
That's
That's
it.
Poison,
heroin, right?
all the stuff that's cut with it, and it goes down the
tranquilizer.
underground. So putting it
Dirty blunt
underground.
needles and all
Aye.
that shit.
So the underground movement of drugs actually makes it more dangerous.
Yes.
So but by making it illegal, you're making it more dangerous.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
but how,
Yes.
exactly. And how can you like someone that's had a shit time of it and starts taking drugs, and you're demonizing these cunts instead of trying to help them because the drugs are illegal and they can't access them anywhere else other than buying them off some shady cunt in the street.
Yep.
It's pretty backwards, and they know it is too, because just because they can't taxidize it, so it's like keep it off the streets, put people in jail. I don't know any, I would say 95% of the people I know take or have taken drugs, right? For sure. And I'm talking mums, dads, all that shit. And if they don't take drugs that aren't legal, they take a shit ton of drugs that they can get over the counter or they can get from the doctor, and they'll still be like, oh look, I've got these amazing painkillers. There's no fucking difference, man.
Yep.
Everybody takes drugs, right? It's just they don't get caught, so fix the problem another way.
Coffee's just as big a drug.
Absolutely.
Well, totally, and it's pretty bad for you as well.
And see,
absolutely.
coffee as well. Actually, coffee's got real issues with the way that the treatment of the coffee pickers around the world,
definitely,
that sort of
man,
stuff.
yeah.
There's some real, what's the word I'm looking for?
Slavery, mate.
Well, it is. It's like,
Big divide in the people that pick it to the people like Nespresso or whatever that own it. Well, there are other coffee brands. I'm not sure what but they are Nestle cunts, aren't they? The
Nestle
Nespresso.
are one of the worst companies in the world, I believe, for mistreating folk. I think.
I think what should be illegal if it's to do with drugs is abuse of drugs. I mean, like taking drugs shouldn't be a thing. It's just like anything else. If you can own a knife, but if you go and stab someone with it, then it's clearly illegal.
Well, then what about so alcohol's is legal, right? And people can abuse it. How would you stop that?
Well, that's exactly it. Technically, it's up to I'd say the venue up to a point. Obviously, they can chuck them out after they're seen to be, because the venue technically don't. Well, they do.
I mean, if someone's shitting up in the corner, they're going to chuck them out eventually after they get too fucked.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't really do it that way. I mean, I think the thing with booze is legal. Most people can curb it when it gets to a point, right? Obviously, people have their problems, but with drugs, if it was treated in the same way and not people weren't made out the way that you are to take it, I don't think people would have the same problems that they have with it.
I'm going to be devil's advocate for a few of these things, right? Because I think the debate is still fairly open. I honestly do with some of it.
Like what?
Like, there is evidence to suggest that smoking grass over a long period of time does affect your mental health massively. But
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
saying
not
that
saying it
alcohol
doesn't.
doesn't do that. I'm not saying that either. But it is something
That
to
wasn't the
consider.
question, though.
I
Mark.
know. We could end up going down the road of.
But I'm of the opinion of, who the fuck are you to tell anybody that? Let me find that out. So let people do what they want to fucking do. It goes back to this, right? I'm going to tell the world what they should be doing. No, people should be allowed to do what they
But
want to do.
then, can
and
folk
take
just jump on a
consequences of it.
motorbike with no fucking helmet on? Do you know what I
They
mean?
want. If they
Well,
want.
it's illegal.
that's the
They
thing.
fucking want.
If you legalize drugs, then you can legalize the
Set
dose that
boundaries in
people.
it, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
You can teach people,
Alcohol's
yeah.
illegal above a certain percentage, or or not on sale in a bar at like a pint of 70% fucking. So it's like people will sell grass that isn't blow your head off indica.
Aye.
That means they can't walk home at the end of the night or something.
People are taking, and I think it's Blind Boy. I don't know if you mentioned Blind Boy before, Swanee, while I had to nip away there, but he talks about the fact that because it's illegal and because all these drugs are mixed with so many things, that it's the equivalent of alcohol before it was legalised. When folk were making moonshine in a bath and stuff like that. It's like
exactly
that's
the
what
same
people
thing.
are taking, so no wonder it's causing harmful effects. There are
I think
ways
the
to
thing
deal
with-
with it that could be what's more legal and could actually generate more fucking tax for the government as well. If it was, there'd be new companies set up.
Well, look at like America. A lot of states in America have legalized weed, and they're doing fucking fine with it. And then look at Amsterdam, and it's rolling tourism and shit from, and people don't die or go mental from.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. So that completely contradicts the fact that we've just spoke about, saying that this study or whatever study it was have said that, marijuana will give you, if you smoke it over a long period of time, will give you mental health issues. That's not true. I know you walk down Amsterdam and you see the guys in their 60s and 70s.
It's not true.
Well, I think that would. I think it would to the same way that if you drink booze every day to.
Yeah, of course. Extent. I'm not saying it's no different, but it would definitely.
I think it's the same as any scientific evidence, and now is a good time to look at scientific evidence. There's a lot of different bits of evidence, and it's portrayed in a lot of ways by a lot of people for different reasons. So you'd need to really get in about the science and find out yourself, where it's came from, what the general consensus worldwide is, and all that sort of stuff. But the debate's there to be had. I think it's maybe over dramatised.
I think it tends to be like the really strong sort of skunks and shit. That
too much anything,
up, but,
too much anything. I think it's interesting that. Some of the stuff that we're saying.
Yes, of course, but I don't think you can say it categorically doesn't cause mental health issues.
No, I didn't say that, Spank. What I said to you is you can't use the exact same back to you. You can't go, weed, if anybody smokes this, every one of you are going to have mental health issues. No, of course,
no, I don't agree.
Well, that's what I mean, the all-encompassing part of that can't be there.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's not true.
No, I totally agree.
I think it's interesting that what we're saying about alcohol being an example of a drug that's legal, but we don't really have a control over it because of the things that happen off the back of it. But I don't think that's true everywhere in the world. I think that's, I could be wrong, maybe I'm just looking at it as from a point of view, but I don't think countries like, I think in Italy and Spain and France and these places, I think people drink alcohol in a different way. They've got a different relationship.
Most people in the world, guys, they sit with a half pint for 4 hours, Murph.
Aye,
they just sit out the back and they'll have a wee half pint and they'll sip it and they'll sip it and they'll sip it, and it'll last them all night.
I know.
And it's a leisure thing. See here, it's a get fucked thing.
Aye, and I think probably most of the world don't drink. I could be wrong about that, but I would hazard a guess and say at least a good chunk, if not half.
It's a lot of dry countries, and
aye, so
it's
not a worldwide
thing.
So religious thing as well.
Yeah,
I think your European countries like France and Spain and Italy and us, they all drink, but they drink differently.
I think that's generalising though, man. There's plenty of fucking drunk hobos in fucking Italy or whatever,
Aye,
of course, aye. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's true. That's just what my hunch, but I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
It's quite a difficult question for someone that like me that doesn't actually know what I'm talking about, but the things that I've heard or looked up about drug legalization and the way that it's worked in other countries, it seems definitely like the way forward.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've kind of touched on it, but it should be, if there is a problem, which there is, massive problem with certain drugs, certain people's relationship with drugs, that should be treated as a health issue rather than a criminal issue.
Yeah, and the criminal thing is things like smuggling the drugs through to the country and stuff like that, because that's against the law, and that's that's drug lords making a shit ton of money, and that should be illegal. But that's when, if it isn't illegal, then you can taxidize it and you can work out proper trade deals and get people paid for, what I mean?
I think it goes back to as well what I was saying earlier about it's the individual. See if you smoke or you do any kind of drug and you know that it's affecting you in a bad way. That's the individual's. They should be going, right, well, I shouldn't be taking that. Many times we're talking about my drunk mates in the back of a motor, I would rather take 4 stoned mates home than 4 drunk mates. Do you know what I mean? So there's people that get absolutely smashed at their face and drink, like we're all saying here as well, but there's also people that can take these drugs and they don't do it, to a massive excess, and they moderate it, and there's loads of research on that in different kind of countries that they're doing it now, and the Denmarks and the Dutch, they're all, and there's loads of evidence to go, well, wait a minute here, maybe all this scaremongering is a bit of what it is, a lot of fucking shit.
It's a losing battle, the war on drugs, as they call it. It's never going to be won.
I agree in terms of cannabis, right? I think cannabis is less of an issue than fucking alcohol. Massively. Obviously, the fucking stats are there. However, certain drugs affect people in different ways.
That's what
But
I mean.
you
leave it
can't,
to the
like,
individual.
my problem is nobody can take heroin and function at all. So how is that?
No,
But
that's-
guess what?
that's not true.
What
Guess
in
what,
function?
Spanks? You're
That's
never
not
going
true.
to. You're never going to stop somebody taking heroin.
No, I'm not
That's
saying it's
impossible.
going. No, I agree.
You've
I
missed my
agree. But
point.
if you legalise it, and you're kind of saying, is it socially acceptable to take, or is that a different thing from legality?
No, well, that's when you need to look at how you're going to control it, and it's not
Yeah.
just a case of taxing it; it's a case of educating.
You're
and,
talking
and
about-
kind of
yeah,
culture.
sorry, Mark.
No, you go shit.
No, you're right. It's exactly what you're saying there. Like it's like it's about controlling, and it's not like if people, it's not like it should be easy to get or whatever. But it's not going to put you in jail if you end up on the street taking smack.
Yeah.
I don't
know,
think
yeah.
you jail for that anyway.
If you get found with
course you do.
heroin on you, what do you think they're going to
If you
just be
got, if you
like?
got fined with, of course,
Man.
possession. Aye.
See what I was talking to you about that thing I watched ages ago, and it was Aristocrats. This was judges and people that were full-blown heroin addicts, but it was pure heroin, it wasn't illegal, and these guys took it every day, and they functioned, Spanks, as fucking high court judges. They were the highest of the high. They were aristocrats.
incredible,
and
There's definitely
Absolutely.
some.
Depending on the highest of the high.
There's definitely a lot of double standards in this world. I seen a meme today, funny enough, and I'm just going to say it out there now because it kind of touches on this. So basically, this is a meme. It's got a photograph. It's somebody on Twitter. This must be like a person that deals with drugs, but they've posted this thing on Twitter, and what it says is, it's a question to people on Twitter. It says, "What's considered trashy if you're poor, but classy
This
if
is a
you're
good
rich?"
one, aye.
You seen it? And then somebody's answered it saying day drinking, speaking two languages, hard drugs, tax avoidance. And I think that kind of hits
Get
the nail
money
on the
from
head
the
a wee
government's
bit.
another one as well.
I've got a meme
Yeah.
here as well. Do butterflies get tramp stamps of fat unemployed women?
But I think the cat's out the bag a wee bit in terms of what that's touching on in terms of the double standards. I remember I don't know who it was that admitted to drug taking of some sort not that long ago. You'll probably remember better than me, but it was either a politician or somebody. I remember
All the Tories have admitted to doing coke.
I remember watching Question
Gove.
Time, and it was
Gove,
Gove.
yeah.
They went around the full panel, 5 politicians, and every single one of them. I was in the 80s. I was taking Eckies. One of them. The next one, I used to smoke. When I was at college, and the next one, it's like
I was at a party
I
Friday
take
night with my
cocaine.
tux.
So literally every single one of them. So if it's at that point where people like that are actually, saying that it's part of their life, then I don't think there's no way that the war on drugs is never going to win. So that's the only solution.
Here's a
Because
thing
of
for
health
you.
problems.
Here's a thing for you then to throw something into this mix, right? They're using what they called fucking psychedelics to treat.
Who's strimming, by the way?
What
I
is
need
that?
I need to open the window, man. It's fucking too warm in here,
Alright.
and it's a whole street
It's,
in their garden, man.
Everyone's doing their grass.
Aye, Shep, honestly, see up here, mate, they get their Christmas tree lights out at the exact same time
It's
every
8:15
year. Like that.
on a Monday. What are you doing?
Honestly, I'm buying a gun. I'm buying a
Sure, I
gun.
thought it was a weekend job. Fucking hell, man.
Mate, they do it every single night. There's a guy who comes out and cleans his car with like toothbrushes and like cuts his grass with scissors and
fucking
shit like
hell,
that.
man.
I'm going to take the scissors off him and fucking stab him.
Sounds
right in
like
the head with them.
he needs to smoke a joint, man. Chill out, mate.
Exactly. Drugs are good.
Aye.
But anyway,
He's smoking the wrong kind of grass. But
it's not the smelly stuff. See what they're doing now, the research into psychedelics to treat mental fucking health
Aye,
issues.
this is cool, man. Yeah, it's cool.
So, I mean, that throws all that.
Aye,
Have we been lied to here? Have we been lied to? Aye, exactly.
Well,
I'd give microdosing a fucking go. Like
Fucking right, shit. Let's do it now. Let's do it right now.
man, you just get yourself a little fucking bag of magic mushrooms, grind them up, take a little tiny piece every morning,
Yeah.
and away you go.
Yeah.
Fucking
It helps, apparently.
no depression, better
Nothing.
fucking concentration,
Absolutely.
all sorts of shit like that.
What's your feelings, Neil, on the whole
Legalisation?
drug
I
legalisation
think
debate?
it should be more of a standardisation, like a regulation more. So if it's regularised, then it's just like everything else. You put something illegal, instantly it's going to have half the population going, "Oh, I'm going to take it," or "I need it," or blah blah blah, and you have to find other means, and then you get all your cocaine monsters and all that. So
Yeah,
Aye.
but that shit's already gone on. But that's the problem. Like cocaine is like what, like the most used drug in Scotland, right? Other than maybe bevy, but
most used
Well, that's
illegal
because it's
drug.
not regularised though. It's not.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
What we're talking
All
about
right,
here?
sorry, I misunderstood you there. Yeah.
oh yeah, so absolutely. So if you legalise drugs, then it won't have the same.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's not trying to make it in barrels or whatever, like
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah.
I think I mean cut this out. In fact, no, don't cut this out. I've told my family this.
Right.
I would honestly see if the doctor said to me, right, David, you've got 6 months to live. They've got this incurable thing happening in you. At the first place I'm going is for a bag of heroin. That's I just think, mate, that looks like the biggest high. Have you never seen Trainspotting?
I think I watched a different way from you, man.
Scary.
It didn't look that good.
Horrible, man.
Do you not think that looks good?
No.
Sink into the carpet and babies walking in your seat.
Aye, it looks amazing. This is ridiculous. Chet, which is the better sex, male or female?
That's a fucking
sex front and back.
I never wrote these questions.
That's a better question. That's a pretty loaded question, Mark.
I never wrote this. But Merv wrote this.
What we get clarification at music or just in general?
Merv?
Just in general.
It's just
In general, I'd probably say women are better, right? Because
Because if we start saying guys, then
no, not even that. I mean, like, who do you share your fucking house with? A woman who, like, we were born from a woman's vagina. You
Without women type thing, is that what you're saying?
well, they're just. I don't know, man. It's all good and fun having a laugh with your pals, but women are probably better, aren't they? They just.
I would agree. I would actually agree, Shep. I would say women are better. I think there's an interesting thing, not to get political again, but I seen another interesting type meme kind of thing, and it was basically showing you politicians that have done well in the crisis, and obviously it's all the females, you know, and it's probably
New Zealand, Germany, Scotland.
aye.
Strong leaders, man.
It.
They're like actual human beings instead of just fucking power-hungry fucking.
The world
Americans.
would be better if there was more female leaders, I think.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
testosterone's got a lot to do with that, lads, isn't it?
100%, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a chemical fact that we shouldn't be leaders. That Michael Moore documentary really made me switch my opinion when he said that Finland, after the 2008 crash, then just sacked the 4 guys that were the leaders of the 4 big major banks, and they installed 4 women, and that they literally got out of the economic disaster quicker than any other country could have ever hoped. And it was simply down to frugality. So the women were a wee bit more risk averse, you know, where the guys were fucking cocaine, hedge funds, here we go.
But it's
you
like
know,
it doesn't mean they can't be like still stoic as fuck, but they're like they just actually, you know, they care more, and they look
more
further into what's going to happen in the future instead of like let's just fix this for the next week and then we can go back to fucking drinking port and eating cheese and fucking
yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely fucking right. I love port.
Aye.
I love port
And cheese.
I love cock burns. I love my cock burning.
I don't mind a wee tipple now and again, but
I'm going to go female. Spanks, who are you going?
Oh, female, of course.
oh,
Why?
you said you were going to play Devil's Advocate. I thought.
No,
come
not
on,
for the
Devil's-
whole podcast.
Oh, you fucking pussy
no.
bastard!
Shite bag.
You literally
Shame,
can't say guys are better. You just can't. Even if you
Well, you actually probably could in this podcast, because I think we're 99.9%.
we're 85% guys.
Male listen.
Aye, and then 24% women, and then 2% non-binary.
I'm going to be devil's advocate because see my personal experience of bosses.
Oh, bosses, right.
Yeah, see bosses, see that. Oh God, I hope. Well, apart from you, Sarah Jane. See, and this is just personal experience, nothing else. They're a bit more neurotic, a bit more all over the place sometimes when crisis hit. You know, like a lot.
I don't think
times.
you can attribute that to. It's just maybe a shite manager, and it
Yeah,
just
I'm talking
manifests
about
itself
loads.
in the fact.
But I'm talking about loads. You know what I mean? So I've had loads of managers in the past where some have been men and some have been female, and out of that, my personal experience, out of that the female bosses have been a bit more, when anything crisis happens, it's like, oh Jesus, and it goes all up in the air, and whereas the guys would maybe go, calm down here and fucking look at this, you know. So I'm probably contradicting myself here, but
I've worked in the bar with females, like assistant managers, bar managers, that have been very fucking good at like keeping the heat, you know.
Yeah, man, I'm a guy and I'm a flapper. You know what I mean?
I think
yeah. Mark, you are a flapper.
You're just a new guy, though. You're just a new guy. Welcome to the
Welcome to the jungle.
What female musicians are you guys listening to at the moment?
Kate Osbourne. I don't know. It's probably not that well known, but I quite like her, a Welsh singer-songwriter. I don't know.
Yeah, I know the name. I don't really know. Like, well, Mark Leanne Lahavis for sure, eh? And like,
I need to admit, I prefer her covers to her original stuff. I've not listened to loads of original
Weird
stuff,
Fishes
but her
cover
covers
on the
are
album.
brilliant.
Yeah, Weird Fishes
that
is
one you
class,
sent me, Spank's brilliant, and she done an everything cover.
Yeah, that
back
was really
as well.
good
It
as well, man.
decent as well.
Nina Simone for me.
Oh, yeah.
Nina Simone. Ooh.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I always listen to a wee bit of Nina.
What about, does anybody listen to Princess Nokia, man?
Never heard
That's-
of that.
No.
If you like fucking class hip hop,
All right.
get involved.
Who's better sex, mate, male or female?
No, I think as long as they've each got boys, so if the guys get boys and the women's get boys, then you're going to have proper leaders. If we're talking about leaders, then it's much better talking to a woman who's got a bit of a...
She's got
not-
boss.
That boss.
No, you know, someone that's got... I mean, that's my wife. Like, she's got more balls than me, I think, sometimes. But I prefer them with, like not... it's going to sound bizarre, but not like guys, but, you know what I mean?
I tend to
guess
find
it's
that
more,
if this is going to sound sexist, but I don't mean it this way at all. I tend to find that women are better at, not complaining is the wrong word, but see if there's an issue with something. See if there's an issue with something, you need to go to return something
I
or
think
that.
I know where you're
I
going.
would
I know
usually
where
go,
you're
nah, I'm
going,
not bothered with that, but women tend to be like, no, that's not happening. We'll fucking sort this
I
out.
think-
Give them a phone.
Absolutely.
I'll do like, and where I'll be like, nah, just fucking leave it and lose the money or whatever. Like, I tend to find.
Nah, I think that's across the sexes, that, man.
Well,
I think
it
that's
just
don't know.
depends on
individuals.
personality, man.
I know where you're coming
aye.
from, but I think
Yep.
that boils down to women are probably better communicators.
Probably.
Hence the reason they're more inclined just to say something.
Well,
about
they
something
certainly
when it
talk a
needs
lot
to be done.
fucking more. Shep, what's the most rock and roll thing you've ever done?
Oh fuck! Right, I was thinking about this the other day, man. Like, I've forgotten pretty much all of my like youth.
Well, there you go. That's rock and roll right there.
I can't think of much rock and roll things that I've done. Like,
Who's it that pissed in a toothbrush? Was that you or your flatmate?
what?
Somebody,
is that
you're
rock
like,
and roll?
was it your mate that peed on somebody's toothbrush? Felt like
Oh, I
it was his
think
flatmate.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It wasn't you.
No, it was. Yeah, I pissed on his toothbrush, but it wasn't because we fell out. It was just more like, you know, when you guys talk about like rock and roll, you guys grew up listening to Beatles and Oasis and all that shit. We were listening to like fucking Blink and stuff when we were growing up. So we were like jackass generations. We were pissing on our friends' toothbrushes and watching them clean their teeth and like getting in the baths together and all that shit and like taking like bottle bongs out the same baths that we're sitting in and all that kind of stuff. But it was nothing like proper. You know, we weren't throwing like fucking speaker systems off of bridges and shit like that. You know, we didn't have the money. We were just like popping bottle bongs and stuff.
The most rock and roll thing I've ever done, I never done it. But I need to say this, it's kind of a jackassy as well. My wee mate Willie, it was Hogmanay, we'd been out and steaming all day, and then we went home to his, in fact we went to one, it was one of our mates' bits, and his mum had put the steak pie in the oven for the New Year's Day dinner, and Willie was starving, but he knew he would get absolutely fucking leather for eating the pie. What his drunk self told me to do was go in, take the pastry off the pie, eat the meat, and then put his socks he was wearing in the pie, and then put the fucking pastry back up. So they had a sock pie for New Year's dinner.
What?
It's quite rock and roll.
That guy sounds fucked.
Oh aye, he was. Aye, he's not with us anymore.
Oh shit!
Funnily
Sorry to hear
enough.
that.
No, it's, that was because he was a bit rock and roll like that. But I pissed myself laughing at that. I thought it was quite
sock
ingenious.
scoffer.
What about you, Spinkle? What's the most rock and roll thing you've ever done? Cannot wait to hear this.
I don't know.
This has got to blow me out my seat.
Merv, you tell me. I don't know. I'm not really very rock
The
and roll.
most rock and roll thing you've ever done?
I remember being so drunk one night. It must have been the drunkest I've possibly ever been in my life, and like crawling in Hamilton, crawling through the floor and waking up, shouting I was crawling through the depths of hell. Like I drank almost a full bottle of Jim Beam out in the town one night. By the way, don't drink Jim Beam. It's the worst thing on earth.
Neil, what's your most rock and roll moment?
I've been trying to think, man. I honestly don't think I have one.
Must have.
You must have had some fucking rock and roll moments.
I mean, if I did, I either
You used
don't
to
want
tour-
to share it, or
like, you used to tour with Gary and Steve and that band, man. You guys must have got up to some shite, no?
You went to Amsterdam and all that, didn't you?
I mean, there was like
That's quite rock and roll.
drug-related things and midget-related things and fire-related things.
You can't
But
just-
I don't really want
Wait a minute,
to.
is this the Wolf of Wall Street?
I don't really want to talk about those
Did you
things.
say midget-related things?
I can't.
Midget
I
darts.
literally, I can't talk. Everyone that I know listens to this, and it's
That's
something
cool. Mark will cut it out.
It's something I can't
go for
actually
it.
share. No, I can't do it.
Oh, God.
It's actually the not known. It's quite good. I'm just
yeah.
going to make up hundreds of stuff in my head about you and midgets.
Andy must have pals that have done rock and roll things. They can talk
I believe they
about.
prefer to be called dwarfs. When I was at school, I guess I don't even know if this is rock and roll or not, but me and a pal, we grew like hash plant and shit, which was fucking super fun, man. It was great, like, you know, checking on it every day, and it started to smell good and shit. But the weed was shit. But we bought like a shit ton of ganja and made like the biggest like hash brownies you've ever seen. They were like maybe 3 fucking like shelves on the thing, right? So we were cooking, we were back in his room on the computer or whatever, and then his mum found them and went mental and threw them in a bin bag and chucked them in the bin. And we're like, oh, that's totally gutting. So we snuck out his window and took them out the bin because they were just in a bin bag. Just grabbed the bin bag sack, took it back through, and a bunch of pals were around, and we like. I obviously put the dose way too high. I don't know, Swanee, you've maybe eaten ganja before, I assume so.
Oh, yes.
But they, you know what it's like. It's a fucking nightmare. So we
terrible.
were fucking eating loads and it tasted great. And everybody started, like, people thought they'd pissed their pants. Some guy, like, ran home with one shoe on. Like, I got a taxi home. The guy must have been doing 20 the whole way home. And I was like, mate, you need to slow the fuck down, man. I was fucking, like, fucking shitting myself. But anyway, so it transpired that because we made it, like, the proper way, which is to, like, cook the weed in like a butter, yeah, to make a can of butter. And they left this cannabis butter in the fridge, which was obviously tinted green. But so his mum, he went in one day and he was like, "Mum, where's that like tub of butter that I left?" And she was like, with a big smile on her face, like, "Oh yeah, I put that on your grand's toast, man." So it's like, fucking give it to the motherfucker's grand, man. But yeah, that was a good time. I look back fondly on that. However, as I say, I don't smoke ganja these days, but I did when I was in high school.
I remember back in the day when the first microdots came out. Can you remember microdots?
What?
No.
I've heard of them, I don't know what-
Under the tongues.
It's LSD, but it's not paper LSD. It's like a flint out of a lighter. They're
Right.
tiny wee things like a flint out of a lighter,
Right.
and they're so strong. But I can remember back in the day, and we were all just taking them out in the streets and running about and and me and my mate were sitting on the wall, and he's like, "Fucking don't look." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Don't look, man, don't look. There's a fucking wardrobe floating up the street." I was what? And I looked up, and sure as fuck, there was a wardrobe floating up the street, but it was 2 guys behind it carrying it because they were doing a flitting. It was hilarious. See, that night as well, he thought a security light in a house was a train. They thought it was a train coming to him. I was,
Oh my
fucking
God.
some mental shit, that, by the way.
Marv, what did you say? What's your rock and roll?
I've been trying to think of this as well for a while, and I don't really have any good example that I can come up with.
What about playing well, it was a solo of Sweet Caroline, but it was actually fucking
Is that rock and roll?
Slipknot. It was a Slipknot solo. Merv was so drunk that you couldn't stand. I'll not mention the venue.
But I've
in
also
case
seen
they
the
don't
flip
get
side
him back.
where he's been on an all-night session and managed somehow to get to the gig the next day, and we're all like, he's not going to be able to play a fucking note here, and then
Spewing in the
and then
back.
spewing in the back and like an absolute mess, and
I
then
remember
just
that.
start up perfect, no
Aye.
perfect, and we're like, how the hell does he do that? So
But
Matthew might be
that's
the most
after-
rock and roll guy I know because of that.
But that's the day after. That's the day after.
right.
So that's
Aye,
when
but it's
he's
not really.
fucking wrong.
It's not really
Aye,
the
no.
day after. It is the day
Aye,
after,
but what I
but
mean
isn't
is,
it?
aye, but it's the example I'm talking about. He was actually in the midst of drinking. Aye, that solo was
That must
funny.
have been-
Saunders will never forget that. He was fucking wetting himself, man.
I can remember feeling really drunk when that, like really drunk. That was like sitting, having lunch, drinking like wine and that, which I don't usually drink, and then just booze, you know, and getting a taxi up to the gig to meet yous, and that gig starts at 11:30
Aye.
in that venue that'll be remain
Oh, it's
nameless.
just,
But,
aye, fuck.
I can actually remember feeling pissed as fuck.
Was that no? By the way, was that no the same night as well where the van wouldn't open and we had to fucking turn
That was
the window?
another night.
that
as well,
That
well,
was always happens at Box. They things.
Do you know what I was thinking as well? Remember the time we left
The van running?
Hazards? I left the van
Tam.
double packed.
full
Oh
set.
yeah, Tam left the whole fucking thing on.
Doors open, hazards on in the middle of Sucky Street, and then I can remember like looking and I'm going, right, so that's our first break, one more song and that, one more song, and I looked at the back and I went, that's your fucking fun there. Like in the middle of the street, and we'd been playing for 45 minutes and we walked out and Tam's going, oh fuck, I can't believe I've done that, and he tried to start it and it was as dead as a fucking dodo, and like, Tam, just get a wee shove, and I'll no start, we need to get jump leads, and like, just get a wee shove, and we literally shoved it the smallest amount you could shove. Tam argued for ages and ages, this'll no start, we shoved it a tiny wee bit and it started. First thing, he's like, he was proper raging, wasn't he?
Dude, that's what happens when you get baked all the time.
Aye, that's true, man, that's true. Aye, he's maybe right, drugs are bad.
Would you rather have feet or a basketball? Would you rather have teeth or a house to call your own? Let's have a game or would
Come again.
would you rather?
That makes absolutely no sense.
question number one always goes to the guest. Shep, question number one: would you rather burn out or fade away?
That's out Highlander.
Burn out or fade away? Well, you know, if you think about it, it's got to be burn out, right? Kurt Cobain, well, Nirvana were probably my favourite one, and that's probably why, because they never kept going to like advertise fucking butter and shit later on in life and saying
Oh, like
fucking
aye, like
terrible Christmas covers and all that shit. They did their fucking thing. Kurt died, and that's it done, and it was fucking excellent. So yeah, I would follow in those footsteps. I mean, that ship has sailed already for me. I'm definitely on the fade away spectrum now.
Are you talking about the Club 27 thing there, perhaps?
Yeah,
that's what I was just thinking.
I did not
actually.
burn out. So yeah, here's for a slow, boring fade out, boys.
That thing that I was talking about earlier on had Courtney Love on it, and she stopped a gig because somebody had a Kurt Cobain t-shirt, and she stopped the gig and shouted at them, if you could, something about Dave Grohl stealing food out our children's mouths and all this, stormed off the stage, and the guitarist had to come back on the stage and ask the crowd to say in unison, the Foo Fighters are gay. And they to chant. It was the most cringe thing you've ever seen. And then the kind of he went 1, 2, 3, and I went, the Foo Fighters are gay. And
my
then
God.
like, Courtney and all that. It was terrible.
It's also
check that out.
homophobic as fuck.
Check that out. I know.
I thought that Kurt doesn't speak bad. I mean, Dave Grohl doesn't even speak badly about her, does he?
I don't know what the script is back, what it was back then. I think they're friends now, but this was like back in the day, and she stormed off and all that, and went mental. I don't know if there was bad blood back in the day or something.
Yeah, maybe there was. Well, maybe they blame her for being a fucking schizo bitch. But
Yes.
Yoko Ono are dead. I think sue a bar in Dundee called Lennon's because it had like
Really?
Yeah.
had like loads of like John Lennon
John Lennon
memorabilia
theme
at
bar,
one.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so they had to
Wow.
change the name and shit.
Dundee's quite with fame. You ever seen the You ever seen the footage of Chuck Berry playing a gig with John Lennon? And then you ever seen it?
That sounds
So
amazing.
John Lennon and Chuck Berry. I'm guessing Chuck Berry's one of John Lennon's heroes, and they're playing this TV show type thing, and it's like, you know, American like chat show about their music, and they're playing their rock and roll, and it's, you know, sounding good in that. John Lennon, Chuck Berry, and then halfway through it, the middle of it, Yoko Ono just starts screaming into the mic.
Oh no!
Like full pelt scream,
I've
like
seen
an
that.
actual
It's
scream.
horrible, man.
I need
Chuck
to see
Berry
that.
just
That
walks
sounds
out as
amazing.
if, what the fuck? And it zooms in on Chuck Berry's eyes. His eyes are massive, and you go, what the fuck? Just staring, death staring, you know what I mean?
You ever seen that video clip of Chuck Berry farting in a prostitute's mouth?
Never seen that.
That sounds like a Dave Chappelle fucking sketch, doesn't it?
It looks like a Dave Chappelle sketch. You need to see it, man. You're like, yeah, he's like, he just starts laughing. You need to watch it. It's funny as fuck, man. But it's obviously, it's not on, like, but it's fucking funny.
Merv, burnout, fade away.
Probably agree with Shep saying. I think the cut-off point's 27 for the whole burning out. If you're going to look at it in the sort of rock and roll context, what we're loosely basing it on. So I would say, if really, then I would rather fade away, and that's what I'm doing. So fading away, day by day, minute by minute, podcast by podcast.
Neil, burnout, fade away.
Probably the same as you guys, to be fair. I don't. Maybe fade away. Aye, fade away.
You've got a family and shit, so fade away makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, fade. Yeah. I mean, burning out. Is it burning out as in corking it too early, or just burning out as in stressed?
Well, it's based on
Burnout, I think, is basically like you at the end of your career at your pinnacle. Fade away is to just have an amazing career, and then, you know, like, I don't know,
On the
Johnny
umpteenth last
Rotten
tour.
or something like
The
that.
Neil Young
You know, like-
tune, Merv, is that what you're about to say?
Well, it's Kurt Cobain that's what he wrote in his thing.
Better to burn
It's
out
better
than
to burn out
fade
and fade away, and it's off the Neil Young line. But strangely, I suppose Neil Young's the guy that's fading away.
Aye.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
really is, you know, he's the guy that's fading away. He wrote it.
Oh, the irony.
Who's in Club 27?
Kurt Cobain, the
Amy Winehouse.
Aye, the other Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin, yeah.
There's loads though when you look it up. Otis Redding, I think,
Jimi
maybe.
Hendrix, yeah. Jim Morrison.
An excess boy, was he no? 27?
Paul McCartney.
No, he was younger.
Here we go, got it here. Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Robert Johnson.
Who's Robert Johnson?
Robert Johnson?
Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson. Oh, Robert Johnson.
Hey, Robert Johnson.
Has it been shown that the 27 Club is an actual club, actual like Kill Me Now club, or is it a?
No, it's people that died or committed suicide at that age. I don't think that many of them. I think mainly they died from drug overdoses and shit. I don't think it was.
Suicide mostly.
Can't think of any of them that were suicide.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think the rest of them were. Well, I know Hendrix was like
Overdoses and
alcohol
shit, yeah.
and
Bob Marley, was he? What age was he?
aye,
No, he was older, I think.
Is he?
Not much older, mind you, but he died of cancer of the foot from kicking
Aye, he never went to get his
Aye,
scene.
did.
kicking a
He refused
football
to
or
go and get his
something.
scene. Aye.
But way before that, he gets shot.
It wasn't the sheriff, was it?
Oh, it was a deputy, mate. Question 2. Would you rather be a roadie or a groupie? And it goes to David.
Would you rather be a roadie or a groupie? I'd rather be a groupie, man. Suck dead cunt. You're not going to be able to use any of this. No,
I know.
Roadies are shite, but aren't they? What a
Well,
shite life.
sucking dick's better than carrying amps, isn't it?
Absolutely shit. See, when you leave Box and you've done a gig and you drive around to the theatre and all the guys are carrying all, they've got fucking, they're like abseilers and all that. They've got hard hats on and the fucking.
I'm fucking scared of heights, man.
I know, fuck that for a carry-on, man. They're carrying it like a whole lorry load of fucking
Oh,
speakers
the
and
proper
that.
roadies, aye. Fucking.
Oh,
It's an
fuck
8-hour load in and an 8-hour load out, man.
No, I mean, no
Easy.
thanks. No thanks. I'll fucking take
Suck
it
a
all
dick,
there.
10 minutes,
Aye.
free cocaine.
Easy. Aye, exactly. Shep's just fucking made the case for me there.
There you go.
Groupie.
There you go.
Can I go next?
Yeah, go, Shep. A good roadie or
I'd
groupie.
be a roadie,
Neil, would you rather be a Roadie or a Groupie?
Yeah, a Roadie would fade away. A Groupie would definitely burn out. So I think a Roadie for me.
I think you'd be a good roadie, man. You like, you fucking get shit done. You never complain. You fucking boom, boom, boom. I think you'd be a good roadie, but you're a drummer, so fuck it. You wouldn't ever go be a roadie, but
Well, you know, I suppose if you were a roadie, you get to be like a drum. Exactly, you get to go play all the cool kits before everyone else does.
A drum tech's a pretty excellent job, actually.
Yeah.
Except from you got to carry a lot of stuff in, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm used to that, so it's not as if it's anything new to me.
Merv, Roadie or Groupie?
We are roadies,
And groupies.
You see when we're gigging.
You suck each other off as well as.
But the Prosecco did
Fucking
shit.
put that Prosecco, didn't it?
No, this is the best content we've ever fucking had.
You're walking in and out every gig, and you're lifting loads of shit constantly. But it's just when you're mentioning there's so many times people will say, and you're patting the van up, can we be your groupies? And I sort of joking, sort of laughing when I see if I hear that one more time.
Do you know what fucking groupies are, sweetheart?
Yeah.
I don't, but I think people think groupies
I
roadie.
think they might. Or just fans.
See, actually, I would love being a roadie.
But brilliant,
I think. See, if to get in, what you were talking about earlier, saying Nile Rodgers or that, going on tour, proper, guitar tech,
Hard
that,
work,
I think
man.
it'd be an
Hard
amazing
work.
job.
Like.
What would that be?
I've got to take.
I think I actually think you'd be really good at
Nah,
both.
he doesn't carry anything. He walks about with like a wee light stand going on.
No.
Aye, but see, if you're on for a guy that's going to wear khaki shorts, wearing a pair of khaki shorts and walk up to mics and
I'm your
test
man.
mics and that, then that's Mark.
Oh, shit.
Banger of sense, Banco Keith Moon.
So yeah, Keith Moon's a legend, isn't he? Of course. There's no many folk on this list I can see that are going to. There's going to be no bangers this week for me, I don't think.
Oh, let's see about that.
Saint.
Shep, Keith Moon, banger of scent.
Yeah, Keith Moon's a saint. I mean, like, he's the guitar player in the band's obviously a nonce, but like, he's a saint in himself. Or he was.
Totally agree. Neil.
Yeah, I would say Saint. I was going to say banger, but because I didn't know him. But yeah, I mean, his sort of coolness outweighs his bangerness.
Surely your fucking whole drum shit is based on that guy.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
You're very like.
It's funny because I'd never really. Well, I wasn't into him at all. I didn't even know who he was when I started drums or anything like that. It was only much later when people started saying that. I then sort of started looking in. I mean, I knew the bands and I knew like he was a drummer, but I never really. I don't follow any drummers or didn't.
So who did you take that feel from if it wasn't from him? Like that.
Well, exactly. No, I didn't exactly. So that was just my feel. So
cool.
So.
Well, that's annoying when people compare you to him and you're like, I don't even know who the fuck he was.
Well, but back then I don't mind now. I mean, I get it because he's just.
Certainly
See if
worse
he just
drummers
didn't
he could
take
be
drugs
compared
and
to,
drink a
man.
lot. I think he would just be like me.
Yeah.
Aye.
Or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he'd just be like dead boring.
Well, yeah.
Definitely, the styles are very similar.
Yeah. And all the fucking tom work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a triplet man. I'm a triplet man.
Yeah,
he
for sure,
he
man.
plays really loose and really live. He's live,
Yeah.
and that's what I love. That's what I do. So,
Yeah.
he's kind of
Always be doing something with your hands.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Neil
Always.
gave me some drum lessons before, which we need to restart again when this COVID shit's
Oh,
done.
absolutely, man.
But he taught me that always have your feet and hands doing something. Don't be fucking not doing
Yeah.
something with them.
Merv, Keith Moon, banger of scent.
Saint, definitely one of the best. I'm shocked at you what you're saying there, Neil, because I honestly think you do sound a lot like him, which is a compliment because I think he's a great drummer. I think Chep touched on it. The other members are a bit bangery, apart from John Entwistle in that band. But although I do like the Who, but you take Keith Moon out of that, and it's not. There's not really much left for me.
Like Townsend's arm
So aye,
flying around.
Townsend's hard drive.
I don't really like the Who, but I like Keith Moon and I like what he's all about. I like his vibe, so I'm going to give him a scent as well. Shep, Courtney Love.
Courtney Love is a certified banger, like, but she She has a couple of good tunes, and she used to be very sexy, Swanee.
Aye, she's just a bit crazy Catwoman looking now, isn't she?
She's just too much, man, and she's wild, eh?
Aye, she scares me, man. Nah, couldn't be in a room with her. She scares me. I'm gonna go. Did you go bang her then for her? Shit.
Bang her. She killed my idol.
Allegedly.
Aye, allegedly. Aye. But was it not proven that he killed himself?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't read the forensics. But, right? I mean, you could definitely like put a gun in someone's hand and shit, you know.
This is fucking taking a dark turn.
Or you could stand you could stand on the sidelines and say, "Do it, you can't."
Do it.
Exactly.
So Courtney's stood in the corner of the shed like going up. Do it. Your feet.
Yeah, that's what happened, man.
Aye. So I'm
for
going
that
to go
reason,
bang
she's
her
a
as well.
banger. Like,
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Spanko.
She's Courtney Love. I don't know much about her, man. Other than basically what we've already discussed, but yeah, I get she's cray, isn't she? She's cray.
Cray.
So
Cray,
banger.
cray.
I would say
Hey, you cray.
if it's Saint versus banger, which is what it is, I'll say banger.
Merv, Courtney Love.
I'm a wee bit like Spanks. I don't know much about her. I would probably be inclined to go towards banger, but I don't
band has
really
got
any,
some fucking great tunes, like
strong feelings.
Dan.
That's a tune, man.
That's good.
Aye. That's not a bad song, aye, but it's one of the ones. Some are definite bangers, some are definite saints. That one could have went either way for me. And
She's no
just
fucking
so
saint
went
at the end of
banger
the day,
on this
right?
occasion.
Neil.
I can just imagine that her and Kurt Cobain doing like truth and dare for the whole gun scene. Like it's like that game. But so you were talking about it. It's funny. No, I think when I said like I like women with buzz, I think she's got too much buzz. Like a bit crazy buzz. Like one bigger than the other, and it's sort of put her off a bit.
Her clitoris is like just one big testicle.
Fucking hell, man.
It's like muttons, you know, a big sheep buzz, and they're kind of like triangular thing, and they hang really low. That's her. Aye. So banger.
So you banger?
No, bang. She is a banger. I think here, if it was the case, she would probably bang me. So I think I would.
Yeah.
She's crazy. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
I think she'd ride my face.
Scary woman. Ozzy Osbourne. Let's go to Shepherd.
Ozzy. Ozzy. Unfortunately, I would say Ozzy's a banger, right? But don't get me wrong, man. Black Sabbath is fucking tits. They were fucking class, but man, this guy's fucked. Man, look at the Osbourne show, and he was one of these guys that started advertising butter, didn't he? He did like, I can't believe it's not butter and shit. Like, man, you put an advert on your head like that, you know, you can't believe a fucking word someone says, man. They're fucking a hired gun. Piece of shit.
Banger, saint, or piece of shit.
Nah, I feel bad because Ozzy, man, he used to be something, but then he started singing songs with his daughter about changes and shit. And
that's a terrible song.
It's horrible, man. Yeah,
it's fucking.
And that's only done any of that for money, man.
Yeah.
Of course,
and at the end of the day, that makes you a bloody banger.
Spanko.
I was going to say Satan because I quite like the guy and all his mad stories and the snorting the piss and snorting the ants and that. It's a bit Satan, obviously, but then
snorting the piss.
No, not piss. Ants. He snorted ants or something. What did he do?
He ate a bat's head, didn't he?
Yeah, off a bat's head. And
that was the first COVID.
Young Ozzy was a legend in that.
Snorted piss. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't snort piss. He probably did. Which would obviously make him a saint. But but after what you've just said, mate, I sell out.
Merv, Ozzy.
I think I'm kind of on the fence a wee bit. I don't mind the Black Sabbath stuff, the early stuff, and I think he definitely has sold out. I think I could be wrong, but his reality TV show might have been right in the cusp of the
early 2000s it came
TV
out.
shows. They used to have one about the Eubanks and that as well.
Yeah, it was a Travis Barker one.
It was a small scale thing, and then all of a sudden it just blew up. But I think could be more his wife seems more driven to me.
Well,
and
yeah, I
maybe
mean,
she's
anyone
trying to-
seems more driven than Ozzy Osbourne.
And that's why I think there's a bit of Ozzy Osbourne. He's just like,
He's a guy that should have fucking burned out, man.
potentially. I mean, I don't see.
People think it's hilarious, but it's like a senile guy, though, isn't it? It's just like,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
There's-
find it funny. No, I don't
there's no
find it
difference
funny.
between him and a guy that living local here and with a
Talking to yourself in a local boozer, aye.
with a substance addiction, and
still wasn't still touring though, right? Wasn't it supposed to be the final tour this year for
Aye,
Ozzy?
still out there doing that, aye.
I don't know if he's whether they're still doing Sabbath or what, but Sabbath was recently on a bill.
I think he does do a couple of their tunes now when he tours, aye. I don't know if he's still touring. I think he's in bad health. He's on Gogglebox, funnily enough. That's what he's on now.
I mean, I've got
Aye,
more
he's-
respect for
he's-
someone on Gogglebox than
Aye, butter adverts.
yeah.
Well, even that it's the same thing with celebrities. Going
But
just
the,
milk
but
any
the
of
thing
them
about
can milk,
like
but-
going on Gogglebox, my argument for it would be, is I would like to watch television on telly, and people get to hear my opinions, basically,
Yeah.
and even if I wasn't paid for it.
Aye.
Just be
Aye, I
like,
know what you mean. Aye, I quite like
just
it.
be like, look at this fucking lizard bitch queen, all this shit,
You need to do that shit. You'll need to do that. 2 bottles of Prosecco,
Just-
set a camera up on top of your telly, mate.
Just-
Just stream that live
Just
on
put it on
YouTube.
Twitch, man. Like,
I think Ozzy Osbourne will actually say banger and descent.
yeah, fair enough, man. I'll give
You
you
can't do that.
I've
A
just
babe.
done it.
He's a babe.
Mark, he's just fucking
He's a
done
Santa.
it. What are you gonna do?
A Santa.
Done it.
Fucking hell. I'm going to have to write a new jingle now.
Yeah, I think if as a banger in the Saint comes, he's pretty much up there. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aye.
You
I
feel
would say
sorry
so.
for him in a lot
Aye,
of ways.
aye.
You look at him and you think that he's a poor guy. He's a poor soul.
He wrote
Is it
some
what
of the fucking first
you know?
heavy metal music in the world. And
Aye. Did he though? Did he? I mean, I always get the feeling Ozzy Osbourne is just the guy that I could be completely wrong. I don't know much about Black Sabbath, but I get the feeling the band are there, and he's just been the guy that turned up and just sang.
do you
and
know
was the
that
crazy
Black
guy.
Sabbath, like, Ozzy left the band and Dio was the singer?
That guy Dio.
No, I don't know much about. The only thing I know about Black Sabbath is the guitarist lost both his fingers before they went on
Yeah,
tour.
he uses plastic caps to play, and he plays like a fucking demon. Like,
Good player, good sound.
Tony Iommi.
Is that not the guy that he fucking put molten plastic?
that's the
Aye,
guy.
Done it, but he made it himself. Done it himself
I
at the
think
start. no?
initially, yeah, but now he's got like custom caps.
Aye.
Like.
Aye, but he made it out of fucking credit cards back in the day or something.
I don't know how he made it, but yeah, he did make them himself. But he's like the most iconic fucking sounding guitar player. Like, he's fucking class. Think of like War Pigs and all that shit.
I love that
Fucking
early
class.
stuff. Aye, definitely. But I don't see him as a Zeppelin.
And Neil, I think we'll finish on Ozzy Osbourne, mate. What do you think? Banger or scent?
I think he reminds me of a mate in primary school who would he would get you to try and gob in his mouth for money. He would just.
What do you mean? If you got it and he gave you money?
Aye, just this kind of person that would just try to do the craziest thing. It would make him like, I don't know,
relevant.
Aye, better, more and stuff.
Attention seeking.
I mean, there's Alice Cooper, which is like the theatrical rock, and then there's Ozzy Osbourne, which I think he just did for mental sake. I don't think there was.
So who do you prefer though, out of Alice Cooper and Ozzy Osbourne?
Ozzy for me.
Yeah,
Ozzy.
I would actually still say Ozzy over Alice
Yeah.
Cooper, to be fair.
I think Ozzy did more for music than Alice Cooper personally. But Mark, your dad's a big Alice Cooper fan.
Yeah, I was talking about the last podcast. Actually, that's
yeah.
my dad's hero. He fucking loves him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
does.
him telling a few stories. Your dad's amazing at putting the radio on and telling you who it is before
Aye.
within 1 second.
Aye.
I don't know how folk can do that, man.
And then tells you about a million stories about the.
Yeah.
Aye, that's amazing.
And then
that
the
shit.
tune's done by the end of it.
Thanks for coming
Yep.
on, Chip.
Aye, cheers,
Thanks for
cheers,
coming in,
mate. Cheers,
Shep,
mate.
about it.
No problem. I hope you can use
Oof.
at least 15 minutes of this.
We'll use loads, mate. Use loads. Yeah. Hope to see you in the box
Yeah.
soon,
I
mate.
feel like I got a little too comfortable, but yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for having me.
That's
over.
good. That's good. You got comfortable.
We'll do it again another time.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks very much for listening to the Carbon Copy COVID Curer podcast.
We'll be back soon with another ill-informed chat-filled episode. Why not tell us what you think by email, inquiry@carboncopymusic.band, or visit our website, carboncopymusic.band. And if you're feeling really generous and you haven't already, please give us a like on our Facebook, facebook.com/carboncopy4, and even our Instagram, @carboncopyweddingband. Thanks again. No bangers were hammed during the make-up of this podcast. Carbon Copy reserve the right to know about anything they like, and they will. Thank you.